Hello everyone, and welcome to English Literature class. It is the class of Introduction into English Literature, and this is the first electronic class. Today we are going to continue, but let us tap into certain elements that we have covered before. Remember, we've covered Old and Middle English, and then the French influence on English literature, then poetry forms and elements, women's voices, Geoffrey Chaucer, the major poet who helped crystallize the English language. And then we discussed Renaissance poetry and the translation of the Bible and how Bible was so influential in the formulation of English, because it was like a revelation that everybody cherished and looked up high to. Today we are going to focus on Shakespeare's work and life. I want you also to remember that this is our textbook that we are going to follow, besides the PowerPoint presentations that we are borrowing from the internet. Now I'll go to the first thing that we are going to do before delving into Shakespeare. We're going to focus on drama, because we will talk about Shakespeare from a dramatic point of view, because he's the major or the most preeminent English dramatist. Let us now go for drama, and then in the second session we are going to focus on Shakespeare and his work as a dramatist. Drama is a Greek word that means to act. Today we are going to define drama, to talk about drama in a historical context, and we are going to talk about the elements of drama as well, the modern elements of drama compared to Aristotle's classification of the elements of drama. The word drama is taken from the word, I'm not sure about this, but again, which means to move or to act. It is a kind of story composed in dialogue, and this differentiates it from novel. Novel is a narration sort of fiction, but drama depends totally on dialogue. Let me just enlarge this for your view. Okay. The elements of drama. We have three types of elements: the literary elements, the technical elements, and the performance elements of drama. But today we are going to focus on the literary elements and the technical elements, and we might touch upon performance elements. You cannot talk about the drama without tracing its classification and literature on drama back to Aristotle, the Greek philosopher who lived between 384 and 322 BC. And he was a very great philosopher and writer, and who had participated and contributed heavily into philosophy and literature alike. He was the first to write about the essential elements of drama more than 2,000 years ago. While ideas have changed slightly over the years, we still discuss Aristotle's list when talking about what makes the best drama. His elements are 6, starting with the plot, which is what happens in the play. We discussed this in the class before. And plot refers to the action, the basic storyline of the play, how the play unfolds in line with a specific philosophy of the writer, specific strategies, so that you are not bored, and then you are always on the move. Theme: while the plot refers to the action of the play, theme refers to the meaning of the play. Theme is the main idea or lesson to be learned from the play. Sometimes the theme is overt, sometimes it's covert, sometimes it is easy to detect, sometimes it is uneasy to detect, and this is why a text can live for long, because people differ on the topics or the themes that are discussed. Characters are the people, sometimes animals, or ideas portrayed by the actors in the play. It is the characters who move the action or plot of the play forward. Dialogue, you cannot have a drama without a dialogue, because it portrays the daily life of the interaction of people. Okay? Dialogue refers to the words written by the playwright and spoken by the characters in the play. The dialogue helps move the action of the play along. Okay? Now, this is the Aristotle's 6 elements of drama: plot, theme, characters, dialogue, and now music. Okay, added to them is music. Okay, while music is often featured in drama, in this case, Aristotle was referring to the rhythm, okay, of the actors' voices as they speak, the tone, the intonation, whether they raise for their voice, whether they speak by whispering. All these affect the performance and the meaning as well. Spectacle, this refers to the visual elements of a play: sets, costumes, special effects, etc. Spectacle is everything that the audience sees as they watch the play. The dresses, the way the clothing is designed, the curtains. But during the Greek time and during the Shakespeare time, there were no curtains, by the way. Okay? These are the 6 elements. Let us go on and see the modern elements of drama. They are not so different, but again, it is good to compare. They are the same with the slight differences, as we've mentioned. We have characters, we have plot, we have theme, we have dialogue, we have convention, we have genre, and we have audience. Let us talk about each one of them in the light of modern theater. Convention, which is a little bit different, are the techniques and methods used by the playwright and director to create the desired stylistic effect. The way actors move on the play, on the stage, okay? The lights, etc., are all convention. Genre refers to the type of play. Some examples of different genres include comedy, tragedy, mystery, and historical play. During the Aristotle's time, Aristotle himself divided drama into only tragedy and comedy. We'll come and define these 2 major genres of drama. Audience, this is the group of people who watch the play. You cannot perform a play to an empty theater. You have to have audience who can interact, who can watch, who can give their feelings, deliver their attitude. Many playwrights and actors consider the audience to be the most important element of drama, as all of the effort put into writing and producing a play is for the enjoyment of the audience. And this is, by the way Shakespeare used to consider drama. He considered drama the same way as we have here, because Shakespeare started as an actor, not as a playwright in the first place. We'll come to this, okay? The literary elements of drama, there are 6 stages in a plot structure. The first stage is exposition, okay? Exposition is the starter or the initial event. Now, the action rises and rises with this is called rising action or complications, where everything gets intermingled and people start to interact on the stage. And there is a crisis or the climax, which is here. If we can focus there. The climax is a very important turning point in the work, and then the falling action, where everything is on its way to relax or to resolve problems or to sort out mysteries, okay? And then resolution, or as the French word down there, dénouement. Excuse me. Now we have these literary elements as well. The initial incident, the event that gets story going, and then the preliminary event, whatever takes place before the action of the play that is directly related to the play. And then rising action, a series of events following the initial incident and leading up to the dramatic climax. The turning point or high point of a story when events can go either way, okay? The falling action, the series of events following the climax, and then dénouement, another term for the conclusion from the French word for unraveling. You unravel, everything becomes clear in before the audience eyes. Other literary elements include exposition, the who, when, where, and what part of the play. It's like narration. Story organization, beginning, middle, end. Conflict, the internal or external struggle between opposing forces, ideas, or interests that creates dramatic tension. You cannot talk about a play without having a conflict that is going to be resolved at the end. And also suspense. Suspense is a very important literary element. You cannot write a plot without suspense. The plot is all about making suspense by playing with words, by hiding certain facts, or delaying the exposure of these facts until the end, okay? It is a feeling of uncertainty as to the outcome used to build interest and excitement on the part of the audience. Language in drama, the particular manner of verbal expression, the diction or style of writing, or the speech. Diction is the language, okay? Or the speech or phrasing that suggests a class or profession or type of character. Style, the shaping of dramatic material, settings, or costumes in a deliberately non-realistic manner. Non-realistic means that you have to do something imaginative in order to catch the eyes of the audience. Soliloquy. Soliloquy is a very important element, specifically in Shakespeare's drama. You will have Macbeth soliloquy, you will have Hamlet soliloquy. In different instances in Shakespeare's drama, you will find a lot of soliloquy instances. Soliloquy is a speech by a single actor who is alone on a stage. It is unlike monologue, which is a long speech made by one actor, okay, but it can be delivered alone or in the presence of others. This is very important. A monologue can be delivered by an actor alone or amongst his colleagues on the stage. But soliloquy is always alone delivered, okay? Is delivered alone. I'm not going to continue with the technical elements. I'm now going to look at this, which is Shakespeare as a dramatist. I'll talk for a little bit on Shakespeare in this session and then continue about him in the other session, okay? Shakespeare was a very important and major poet, dramatist, and actor in English literature. He is considered to be the most famous writer in English. He lived between 1564 and 1616. He wrote a good number of plays despite his busy life as an actor. He would act or go for the theater in the daylight and write his works at night. He was a very, very hard-working writer. His writing is still influential today, translated into nearly every living language around the world. So you cannot study English literature without having acquaintance with this man and his work. He was born in Stratford-upon-Avon, England, and he was a son of a prominent town official. He received excellent education, although he did not continue as his university wits contemporaries. He did not go for university, but he had very good education in grammar schools, and grammar schools were famous during his times. His marriage was an ordinary marriage. He had one child, okay, and she was a daughter, and then he was with another twins. There is this term of lost years in Shakespeare's life, which covers the years from 1585 and 1592. They are known for lost years because there are no documentary records of Shakespeare's activities. Nobody knows what he did, okay? Shakespeare's daddy, just a minute please, I need to. Shakespeare's father had financial troubles, and this was a motivation for Shakespeare to move to London to become an actor. He worked with the Lord Chamberlain's company of players, later known as the King's Men. It was Lord Chamberlain's during the Elizabethan time, Queen Elizabeth. And then during King James's time, it changed its name into King's Men because the king himself sponsored it. Along with acting, he also wrote some of the most renowned and studied literature written in English language, poems famous for his sonnets. He wrote more than 140 sonnets, and these are very, very influential. They are translated into world languages, including Arabic, and they were translated into Arabic by major writers such as the Palestinian Jabra Ibrahim Jabra, the Syrian Kamal Abu Dib, and the Egyptian Muhammad Inani, along a long list of other translators. These works are plays, comedies, tragedies, and histories. Okay, we have Shakespeare wrote comedies, he wrote tragedies, and he wrote histories. The comedies include All's Well That Ends Well, As You Like It, Comedy of Errors, Measure for Measure, Midsummer Night's Dream, Taming of the Shrew, Much Ado About Nothing, 12th Night, Merchant of Venice. And you know that comedies discuss ordinary life of ordinary people. There is no much drama on these comedies, although they are sweet bitter at the same time. Like Merchant of Venice, for example. Merchant of Venice is a play where he discusses a Jew who lends money and expects to have the man's flesh in return if he does not honor his deadline. But again, it turns into a happy end, and which is a characteristic of comedies. Okay, the tragedies: Julius Caesar, Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello, Romeo and Juliet, King Lear. Remember that he gives a good space for kings and monarchs, and he gives good space for how a monarch is removed from the throne, or how people aspire to remove a monarch from throne, like Julius Caesar, Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello. Romeo and Juliet is different from these. King Lear is same. Okay. Histories: King Henry V, King John, Richard II, and Richard III. One main thing I want you to know about these histories: Shakespeare came in a time where the English nation was taking shape at the hands of the Queen Elizabeth. And glorification of the heritage and culture of the country was important, and Shakespeare took place in this. Okay, he started to document the history of his country with these works, histories, okay, with glorification of the English nation in mind. Again, with questions like death, life, the whole situation was about not only glorifying the nation after the Armada was defeated by the English Navy, which made the English Navy the authority or the controller of the seas, but also because it was an exploration age, everything was re-evaluated, death, life, etc., etc. And we will come to this when we study, for example, the characteristics of his work. I read from the book, your textbook, the form of the time and the process shaping the move into a new century meant the re-evaluation of many fundamental concepts. Time and again, Shakespeare's characters ask, what is a man? What is a man of his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed a beast no more? This is in Hamlet. He means that if a man is only interested in his food and sleep, he is an animal. He doesn't deserve to live this life. Again, what is a man? If his chief good and market of his time but be to sleep and feed a beast no more. Hamlet. This is a very important line in Hamlet. I will stop here and then we are going to continue in the second session. Please stay with us. Thank you.